Bienvenidos and welcome, chodes, to the Midnight Gardeners New Year's Eve Spring Break Summer Solstice Extravaganza. Today, we're bringing you some of the hottest and dumbest VJs this side of the Mississippi, and we won't tell you which side that is. Rock and roll bios, rap music videos, an interview with a dude, and much more. This is MGLTV's Spring Break.
Yeah! Turn my headphones up. Action Ramsey! Yeah! Nobody thanks the chef. Yeah, bitch, the hamper in that shit. Get up, scallion, got spices cooking. The burn up any scallops, and you ain't gotta hear it. But you fuck up in my kitchen, take your face and fucking sear it on the motherfucking griddle. I'll burn it up a little. I need up on the scallops, probably dab you up a little. Motherfucking crazy, and frankly it's amazing. I'm high all of the time, and yet these people wanna pay me to say a bunch of nothing. Always catch me bluffing. I can't even cook, no one cares that be puffing on the weed, fusing it with the salmon. Charles Barkley coming over, gonna watch Aladdin, cause that's the life I live. I got a lot of kids, like 26 or something. Did I mention all the weed? That's a lot of yeah, man. Hiding in it, man, oh, fucking yeah. Idiots keep cashing it. Cha-ching, cha-fucking ching, bam, bam. Hey, pass the garlic salt. No, leave the garlic powder.
I got nothing in here, man. Fuck this fridge.
Oh, dude, that Action Ramsey is a wild cat, man. I once smoked weed with him after he smoked a salmon, and then I got smoked by Smokey Robinson and Smokey the Bear. And trust me, there was more than one bear in that room. Anyway, it's me, Spike Myers, Mike Myers' bastard son. I don't know why I was looking over there. And I know you don't know shit about rock history because you're not as hip as me. In fact, my dad had a hip replacement surgery and he called it the Me. Our award-winning documentary film crew sat down with some of the most southern North American rock legends to hear about the stories you haven't heard. Because you've been too busy listening to their rockin' tunes and not listening to these rockin' dudes. Because that's right, we didn't have the time to interview ladies. So, check out the first one, which is important.
Untold moments in rock and roll history.
Yeah, I was at the very first Lampshade show, 1978. The heyday of fuzz rock. It's a good time. A show I'll never forget. I mean, how could I? I was there right in the front when J.J. Lennon took his own eyes out of his skull and continued to rip the greatest guitar solo I've ever heard in my goddamn life. You'd be a fool to tell yourself that that wasn't the greatest live performance to ever go down in a Kentucky barn. A goddamn fool.
Untold moments in rock and roll history.
We're coming at you live from beautiful Los Angeles, California for Pitbull's Rockin' Spring Solstice Break 2018. Every year we do see a lot of glam, but this year specifically, we're looking to see who's bringing the ham. Meryl just looking fabulous as ever. Beautiful Miami, California. So we're gonna be with you all night long, right until my balls drop. Eric Estrada's Grand Centennial Revelation. Of course, the big question for this evening is who's gonna win that big juicy ass? Now this year, the Energy Cube is actually made of 8,000 crystal nipples, or Christy Nips, if you will.
Hi, I'm raconteur and member of the Midnight Gardeners League, Max Wolfson, and when I'm not busy investing in velvet futures, and by that I mean a future for myself completely covered in velvet, what I like to do is listen, not just to music, but to sounds. What's that? Keep going? Okay, God, I'll keep crushing it. You know, as a recently married man, it's given me a new perspective. Music is just one part of the tapestry of sound that we're all able to access. And we, at the Midnight Gardeners League, were able to really find that out by visiting a man in the Richmond, Virginia area named Sylvester Salazar. And that name might sound like a joke to you if you hate Italians. And if so, me too, buddy. We all know what they're up to. Let's hear from Sylvester, and then let's get back to the Midnight Gardeners Midnight, Midday, Mid-Jam, Funk Jamboree, Fucktown #1 Puddle Festival. The spring break that's gonna take your life. Roll the clip. Roll the clip.
I like to think of myself as an explorer of sounds that you never even thought of, much less heard. I explore soundscapes that exist in a trade, in a craft that's existed for generations now, of artists who are just really pushing the boundaries of what is and isn't acceptable to the human ear. It's like bed springs, huh? Bed springs? That would keep me up at night, that sound. A real audiophile, so I truly love all sound. The sound of a birthday cake being thrown away. The sound of a dog that's so old it's breathing its last breath. What do you call that, huh? I call that, Monday morning, mom's dropping me off at school. 45 minutes late, huh? A hole being dug in a wet backyard. A nice crisp shovel. It feels good, but it also sounds good. Smells good too. It's really like a three-way of sensory input. But there's one particular thing I never care to hear again, and that's the sound of a 1972 Dodge Charger peeling out of a long gravel driveway in a fall day. That's the sound of my mother leaving. And I swear to God, I've never been able to capture it.
Don't worry, guys, it's not me for long. It's about to be another untold rocker thing. Is that what we call them? And now it's time for another unheard rock Mormon moment in history. Wait, is that Mormon or moron?
Now even more untold moments in rock and roll history. So in 1970, Phil Spector invited John, Paul, me and Spingo out to his haunted castle on the Isle of Wight. Oh yes, I said Spingo, you see, that was his original name. We had a small typo in our first press release, so we decided to just run with it. Anyways, we all climb into the old magical mystery van and head out to this remote locale. But as it turns out, Phil Spector is a huge Nazi. You see, his estate wasn't located on the Isle of Wight. It was located on an Isle of Wights. Made us all very uncomfortable. Anyway, after Phil realized he wasn't going to be able to convert us to his radical way of thinking, he decided to torture and kill us. We managed to escape though, and things got pretty harrowing as he and his goons gave chase on their dirt bikes, especially when we made it atop Suicide Ridge. But you see, between recording Revolver and Rubber Soul, I had been training as a demo derby driver, and with a little bit of argy-bargy, I sent old Phil flying off the cliff. Some say he died that day, others say he still walks among us as a cybernetic organism. Who knows? Anyway, the band eventually broke up, and well, you all know the rest of that story.
This has been Untold Moments in Rock and Roll History.
Welcome back to MGLTV. I'm joining you from the Fist Hills of the Adirondacks. We're here with some of the coolest people we could find. Let's hear it. Coming up next, more failure.
Corey Corpus Christi, California. This year is sponsored by the Committee to Break Up My Mom and My Stepdad Marcus. So let's see you raise those cups that overfloweth with the love of the Lord. Benjamin Netanyahu's Race for the Cure, and I promise I won't take any of you to jail. Richmond, Virginia, California. Ryan Seacrest is chasing me. Y2K So White. I'm Jennifer's Body McCartney, and I want to thank you for tuning in to my Coachella's on Fire Festival 2004.
Another rock history legend you don't know about is one I'm about to tell you about. But don't take my word for it. Take their word for it, because they're going to tell you about it too. If you think I don't know what we're doing, we're both confused.
Now, more untold moments in rock and roll history.
Christ, it must have been about 1982, 1983. I was out there on the coast of Greece, hanging out with Boz Skaggs and Don Fagan. Good guys. Ran into that weirdo, David Byrne. He was playing a new Turkish game with some of the Turkish fellows on the boats. We said we'd get on, we'd do some drinking. We decided to put cigarettes out on each other's ties. It was a prank at the time. Eventually one thing leads to another, and we say, hey, let's take this thing out, for a spin. So we get it out the harbor, but as soon as we leave the harbor, we hit a rock. David says, we hit a rock. And I said, hey, buddy, that rock hit us. And the only problem was he never heard me because I rocketed out the side of the boat, hit the dinghy. It was going about 120 kilometers an hour down the side of the coast. So eventually a state trooper pulls me over, and he says, sir, do you know that you're hunting without a license? It was about that time that I realized we weren't in Greece. We were in Athens, Georgia. So it's been about 3 days in the county clink, and then I met my wife in a Piggly Wiggly.
This has been Untold Moments in Rock and Roll History.
Sup, it's me, Spike Myers, with my dad, Mike Myers, trying to tell you guys that you gotta stay in school until you're legally not allowed to stay in school. And you're gonna Photoshop him in, right? Because I haven't seen him in, ever.
Hello. Stay tuned for more of the Midnight Gardeners Mid-Autumn Spring Break Jamboree Fun Festival and Not At All Occult MLM Sell-Up Jam. Remember, Rick Rubin's out there somewhere, giving away free Reuben sandwiches.